The University of Virginia held an emergency board meeting on Tuesday, and they said they will change the school's policy on sexual assault to zero-tolerance approach. NBC's national correspondent Peter Alexander has this report. Peter?
Lawrence, good evening to you. The UVA campus, of course, is largely cleared out now for the holiday, but students and administrators there are struggling to deal with a deep-seated issue. As the president of the Interfraternity Council himself conceded, sexual violence is a serious problem. It's upsetting to admit. Your story's not unique.
It's not. I've heard from a lot of women like me.
Emily Renda knows firsthand about rape at UVA. As a freshman, she says she was sexually assaulted at a fraternity house on campus. Her attacker, she says, never punished because he transferred schools. Now employed by the university, Renda counsels other sexual assault survivors, including Jackie, whose detailed account of a vicious gang rape published in Rolling Stone has exposed a cultural crisis within this 200-year-old institution. Every student, you say, needs to look in the mirror.
Every student needs to look in the mirror and decide, what can I do that reinforces a value system that supports survivors and stops it from happening?
UVA's board addressed the firestorm sparked by the Rolling Stone article at an emergency meeting Tuesday.
I'd like to say to Jackie and her parents that I am sorry.
Weeks after Charlottesville police investigated the disappearance and murder of freshman Hannah Graham, the university president has now asked Chief Tim Longo to investigate Jackie's case.
There were bystanders. There were people in that room who saw and heard what has been called shocking and horrifying, and I hope that those bystanders have the moral courage to come forward and help us with that investigation.
Even as protesters silently condemned the school's policies, one sign of UVA's founder reading, "Sexual misconduct, a Jeffersonian tradition," the board vowed to come up with new solutions.
If we can't deliver on this fundamental duty, then we, all of us, we will have failed.
Urgent calls for change as this campus community undergoes a painful re-examination.
We are facing a deeply kind of terrible thing that's happened within our community, and that fundamentally undermines your understanding of trust here.
At the conclusion of its meeting yesterday, the UVA board adopted a zero-tolerance policy on sexual assault, but it's really still unclear exactly what that means and how it'll be enforced. Lawrence?
Thank you, Peter Alexander. Joining me now is Dahlia Lithwick, a senior editor and Supreme Court writer for Slate. Dahlia, what are the legal liabilities for the university in this situation?
I think that's one of the things they're trying to figure out now. And I certainly saw an email thread this week, Lawrence, suggesting that some of the faculty think that the university really could be on the hook for, in effect, turning a blind eye for years. I mean, the thing that I am hearing everywhere here in Charlottesville is people saying that as shocking as that Rolling Stone article was, people are not all that surprised that this has been known for decades as a party school, as a school where the Greek life really takes precedence over, the rules, and just a feeling that the university has not only known that this is going on, but as the article alleges, has kind of hidden it in some ways that keep students from being perfectly safe and informed. So I think there is a real discussion going on now as part of the larger question about how the university can fix it, is what is the university also on the hook for?
And is there any way of trying to determine how much of this is a fraternity problem?
I was at that Board of Visitors meeting yesterday, Lawrence, and one of the things they were trying to tease out was how much of this is a Greek problem, how much of this is an honor code problem, how much of it is just binge drinking. And I think that these single cause discussions are only helpful to a point. I think probably the real answer is, and this is what the Rolling Stone article gets to, we are not reporting rapes on campuses. The data I saw showed that 5% of rapes on campuses are actually reported to the police, and that by diverting them into these, Title IX hearings or these honor code hearings or these alternate systems that often encourage reconciliation and encourage all sorts of things, encourage the survivor to have to confront the person that may have harmed her, that you get a system that is simply not funneling these complaints into the law enforcement system where they need to be.
Dahlia, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. And that's it for The Last Word. We will be back Monday at 10 p.m. with more.